Crypto's dead in America.
It is dead in America.
Crypto's dead in America. I mean, now you had
Game
Gansler.
over.
You had Gansler even blaming the banking crisis on crypto. So the United States authorities have firmly pointed their guns at crypto. I just think that they were probably the ones that were the most threatening to the establishment.
Okay.
And they were the ones that, in fairness to the regulators, did push the boundaries more than any other sector of the startup economy. And yeah, so now they're paying the price for that. The bill has come due for them.
It's been several months since U.S. regulators all but declared an out war on the cryptocurrency industry in the United States. Following the FTX collapse in November, U.S. regulatory bodies, including the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, started a regulatory onslaught on cryptocurrency exchanges, lenders, and other crypto-affiliated firms, as well as crypto projects like stablecoins. However, what regulators have not done is actually regulate the industry. There is still as much need for clarity as there was in 2021. Over last year, for example, there have been lots of debates about what constitutes a crypto, commodity, security, or currency. Last year, SEC Chair Gary Gansler said all crypto assets, with the exception of Bitcoin, are securities. Shortly after, his CFTC counterpart said Bitcoin and Ether are commodities and almost everything else was a security. This chaos and confusion strengthened the previous argument that the cryptocurrency industry needs to be suitably regulated to grow in the United States. However, policymakers and regulators seem to believe the right path is a pointless, directionless crackdown on anything and everything crypto with a lot of misplaced blame. Apportioning. Last week, while answering questions about his treatment on the crypto industry, Gansler told lawmakers that the crypto industry is primarily responsible for the sudden collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and the subsequent banking sector crisis. In the latest episode of the All In podcast, Canadian-American venture capitalist Chamath Palihapitiya and entrepreneur and investor David Sachs discussed the state of the cryptocurrency industry following the continuous regulatory onslaught in the United States. Both Chamath and Sachs believe the crypto industry is dead in America, and it's because of the action of agencies like the SEC.
The more I think about it, the more I think it's probably not a coincidence that you're seeing all these concerns about de-dollarization at the same time they're cracking down on crypto. So look, there were a bunch of crypto companies that might have done shady things, but I think we all agree that Coinbase was not one of them. Coinbase was the gold standard in terms of doing everything right, and they've just asked over and over again for a regulatory framework. They're just like, tell us how to operate and we'll do it. So I think Chamath is right that they're effectively banning crypto in the United States. They're going to drive all these companies overseas, which is terrible for American innovation. I don't know exactly where blockchain and crypto are going to go from here, but I think that we should find that out in America. You know, we don't want that innovation going offshore.
You bring up a really good point too. It's just like Coinbase played by the rules, stood in line, tried to do the right things, it seems, at every step along the way, right? Everything from board composition to executive composition to how they tried to interact with the regulators, yet they were probably the furthest away from getting a license. The one that came the closest was the one that was the most fraudulent, which is FTX.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
How is that even possible?
I mean,
because he had skills in gaming the system.
Yeah, he's splashy cashy.
Well, he ponied up large amounts of money because it wasn't his money, so it was easy for him to make huge donations. But he knew how to play the game. To quote SBF, he said, "This is the dumb game we woke Westerners play. We say the right shibboleth so everyone likes us." That's the game he was playing, which is my whole concern about if we jump the gun on regulating AI too quickly, it'll turn into another, woke game that everyone's going to play. So
here's how the world works. Regulate yourself, behave yourself, act in the interest of consumers, or get regulated or smashed. And I think we've gone over this. We talked about it, in fact, last week. Whether the movie industry, crypto, AI, regulate yourself, behave properly, don't push the boundaries too far. You can bend the rules, but you don't want to break them.
I think the regulate yourself, you use the MPAA. I don't think that's the right example. I think if you're going to regulate yourself, look at the tobacco industry. They tried to regulate themselves, but what they did was just lie to maximize profit in an area that was much less benign than movies and content. Maybe You could have some lascivious content in a movie or a video game or an album, but that was a lot less harmful than smoking, which not just impacted the smoker, but it turned out the secondhand smoker as well, or the secondhand smoke. So it touched everybody, right? You could be in a restaurant, not smoke, and yet
have years of your life taken.
So I think that the self-regulation for areas that impact everybody, independent of whether you participate in the system or not, is where you have to look for good examples, Jason. And I'm not sure there are many good examples of self-regulation, those kinds of systems.
I mean, I like your workshopping it here. I mean, some restaurants would have a smoking section and a non-smoking section before there was regulation, right? And I think if crypto had been more thoughtful about, hey, which tokens, NFT projects we're going to support, which ones we're not going to, that maybe they would have avoided a little bit of this. I'm not sure. You know, it's hindsight's 2020 here, but a little more regulation.
I don't think those smoking, non-smoking sections worked too well. The smoke went all over the place.
Exactly. It was. Can you remember? You remember coming out of a bar and you woke up the next day and your clothes smelled like smoke?
No. You'd have to take a shower when you went to a bar or a restaurant.
President of Coinbase Brian Armstrong has appealed to the U.S. Congress to intervene and prevent the SEC from forcing the digital asset industry to relocate overseas. The CEO of Coinbase recently tweeted, "I met with the SEC today, receiving over 12,000 likes. We'll keep pushing for the United States to establish uniform crypto regulations." The United States can afford to lag behind other countries in adopting this critical fintech update. It is crucial for regulators to establish rules and then carry them out, not to begin with enforcement until the rules are established. Congressional intervention appears necessary at this time. In a separate tweet, Armstrong says that the financial regulators' assault on the cryptocurrency industry has done untold harm to the United States. Take a look at the tweet. Had a full day of meetings with legislators in Washington, D.C. For many reasons, including consumer protection, national security, economic growth, etc., it is imperative that the United States establish clear regulations for the dominant crypto exchanges and exchange platforms. Damage to the United States from the SEC is immeasurable, with a focus on regulation by enforcement as its policy. It is something we intend to actively work to correct. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, sent Coinbase a Wells notice last month, informing the crypto exchange of the regulator's preliminary determination to recommend filing an enforcement action against Coinbase for alleged violations of securities laws. As a result, Armstrong talked to Andrew Griffith, a member of Parliament, last week. It has been speculated that Coinbase is considering leaving the United States due to the toxic regulatory environment, as Griffith is the economic secretary to the Treasury for the United Kingdom. Armstrong and other prominent figures in the industry have previously warned that the SEC's crackdown will have a devastating effect on the expansion of innovation in the United States. The United States should be more open to the cryptocurrency industry if it hopes to maintain its status as a global superpower. The crackdown may put a temporary halt to the industry's growth, but it won't be able to stop it entirely. Comment on Chamath and Sachs' analysis of the cryptocurrency market in the US at the moment. Is the government's crackdown on cryptocurrencies necessary or merely a power move to safeguard the status quo of the financial sector? Use the space below to share your thoughts and opinions. That's all for today's video on Market Empire. We hope you found the information shared valuable and informative. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the world of finance. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.